defense covers it. Pressure time.
Welcome back, everyone. I bet you in a lot of households right now where there are especially men, they've got it on ESPN waiting for game day to start.
That's right. This is the opening weekend test.
Exactly.
This is why everybody studies all those stats so they can get ready to play fantasy football and drive their wives crazy, right?
Exactly. Welcome back, of course, to Jeff Corcini and Russ Bliss of Fantasy Football Starters. Every Sunday, we have them in during the football season so they can give us some tips and tricks to stay on top of your pool. We know how crazy fantasy football players are.
Yes, it is. And we brought Russ back again to talk about some fantasy football tips. Last week he kicked it off with some good ones, and we got some more.
Yeah, I loved if your stud is a dud, don't let him go just yet. Be patient.
Yes, don't panic if your stud is a dud, and always start your stud players at the beginning of the year. Something else that you want to do is you want to pay attention to the NFL injury report. That comes out on Friday afternoons. That's the official one that comes out from the NFL office. You want to make sure that your players are not listed as doubtful or out for the game. If they are, you want to get them out of your lineup. And you want to pay attention to the rookies. Rookie players have a tendency to not come out and light the NFL on fire right away. They have a tendency to take some time. A prime example is that there's a lot of expectations on Darren McFadden this year.
That's right.
Darren McFadden for the Oakland Raiders was drafted very high. He was the #1 rated running back in college coming out in the draft, and there's a lot of expectation there, but there's already an established running back there with Justin Fargas. So you want to temper your expectations with Darren McFadden, especially early in the year, because this is going to be just like with Adrian Peterson and Chester Taylor last year in Minnesota.
That happens a lot with, I think, so much hype put on the rookies that are coming out. They did so great in their college careers, and then they go into the NFL, and it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, it is. And running backs normally will have a better option to be successful, but once these NFL teams get some tape on some of these players, then, they're good to go. So it's one of those things that we do recommend. Don't believe the hype of these rookies. Temper your expectations.
Okay. Yeah. One of the things we always do, of course, is watch the Cardinals.
Yes.
And we are watching, of course, Kurt Warner. Why can't I say that this morning? Kurt Warner.
You're not used to football yet, Tess, but yeah, there's a great matchup, and we always talk about fantasy players on the Cardinals, and this week we're talking about Kurt Warner, who we predict is going to throw for about 300 yards against the 49ers, maybe even 2 touchdowns. We think he's going to have a great game. Another player that we're very, very high on as well is Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald probably will go for about 100 yards and a touchdown. And we've got an interesting point about the Cardinals and the 49ers this week, don't we, Russ? A little game within the game, too.
Yeah, definitely. The Arizona Cardinals quarterback, Kurt Warner, was the quarterback for Mike Martz, who's now the offensive coordinator in San Francisco, back in the days in St. Louis when the Rams won a Super Bowl. So Kurt Warner knows this particular system. He knows Mike Martz's offensive style, and he can impart that knowledge to the Cardinals players and the defensive coaches, so that way there's a little bit more of a game within a game going on right there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this. It'll be a good
matchup. Yeah.
Yes,
so who are we predicting? Should I even ask?
Well, I'm a 49er fan, but I think the Cardinals are going to win. So, Russ?
Yeah, I definitely think the Arizona Cardinals should win this game. I've got them down 26-20 over San Francisco.
Yeah. All right. Ooh, we're even giving scores. Look at that.
That's right. And to make it fun, Tess, every week we have our gift card giveaway. So this is a fantasy football gift card. It's got tools, games, and magazines. And the first person to email Jeff at fantasyfootballstarters.com with the answer to who scored the first touchdown this season already. Now remember, Thursday we had the opening game. It was the Giants against the Redskins, and if you email me the player that scored the first touchdown of the NFL regular season, I'll give you that gift card.
All right. Well, I know the answer, but I can't give it away because then you guys would all be able to go online.
That's true. That's true.
If for those people who aren't familiar, real quickly, tell us what fantasyfootballstarters.com. You really can find everything there for your fantasy football team.
We are all about helping people win, and we have a lineup analyzer, and what people do is after they've drafted a team, they can come to our site, they can put their roster in there, and then we're going to give them predictions on demand in a matter of seconds. As you well know, we've talked about a lot of people spend hours researching who to start in their fantasy roster.
I haven't seen my husband all week.
That's what we do, Tess. And we still have our special offer. Anybody that emails me, we'll upgrade them for free.
All right. All the information on our hotline if you missed any of it, including the website. So thank you, guys. Russ and Jeff, we'll see you next weekend, next Sunday.